Hey, Justin here with 65 Drums. Welcome back to the channel. So today I'm doing my video on the Roland VAD306. This is the cheapest drum set in Roland's brand new line called the VAD series, or V-Drum's acoustic design. And this one feels a lot different than the 500 series, which I just did a video about the other day. Go check that out if you want to learn more about those drums. Those drums are darn near perfect. There's not that many things wrong with them. They're very, very good. This drum set is half the price though, so they ended up making it quite different. It's got a completely different drum module. The sizes of the drums are all different, and even the depths of the shells is a lot more shallow. I enjoyed playing this drum set, but for me it's better to think of it as an extension of the TD17 line. So this could be like a TD17 KVX-S or something, because none of the sizes here are actually acoustic sized. None of these are actually even deeper shells than what we've seen before on other Roland like TD series drum sets. They are as shallow as the TD10, the TD20, the TD30, and the TD50 drum shells. And as far as the kick drum goes, it's about a third or a half the depth of the kick drum on the TD25 KVX. But for me, it's more helpful to think of it as a flagship version of the TD17 KVX. In the second part of the video, I'm going to talk about how this drum set stacks up against the Elisa Strike Pro SE and the regular TD17 KVX, which is a little bit cheaper than this drum set. For the cymbals, you have a 12-inch hi-hat, two 12-inch crash cymbals, and a 13-inch ride cymbal. As for the drums themselves, you get a 12-inch snare, three 10-inch toms, and an 18-inch kick drum. But the playing surface, the playing zone in the kick drum is actually only 5 inches across because it's essentially the sensor from a KD10. But because it's mounted inside of this frame, it has a lot more weight behind it and is a much more enjoyable experience. The kick drum does not creep forward, which is great, and it feels solid. But of course, because there's less shell depth there than on the higher tier drum set, it doesn't have quite the amount of weight behind it as the one on the TD50 KVX, the Roland TD25 KVX, or the VAD 500 line. One interesting thing about this kick drum is the fact that they got rid of the protective plate that they usually use on this kind of sensor on these kick drums. Instead, you can see just the regular acoustic drum head and then the sensor that is mounted in the middle of that. I actually kind of like the look, and I'm also happy that they're using a black drum head here so you can't see the wires and stuff on the inside of the drum. I think it's a nice look. The snare and the toms are brand new, and because they're made by Roland, the tracking is beautiful and accurate, and they're just very fun to play on. They're using 2-ply mesh heads on everything, which are sitting on top of rounded bearing edges of these 2-ply poplar shells. I understand that they can't have these drums being quite as big as the 500 series, but it really would have been nice to see a larger floor tom just to break up that pattern from high tom to floor tom. Now, as far as the cymbals go, I feel like the VH10 hi-hat was a good choice here. I like the two 12-inch crash cymbals, but that CY13R ride cymbal just feels too small. That's too small of a playing surface for the sizes that they have. It would have been great to use that 40% thinner brand new 16-inch ride cymbal that they have in the 500 line as the main ride cymbal of this drum set. Roland's whole pitch was that those new thinner cymbals were just going to be exclusive only to the VAD line, but apparently as of right now, they're only exclusive to the VAD 500 line. Would have been great to see that as the ride cymbal on this drum set. It would have made this whole kit a little bit more compelling. But of course, taken as a complete package, these pads are very fun to play on, and the look is pretty sharp. Now moving on to the module, unfortunately they're not using the TD27 here, but they are using another very capable drum module, which is the TD17. The TD17 module comes with 310 sounds and 50 kits. It also supports sample import for one-shot samples. This module also has Bluetooth, which has become a very standard feature these days, and lets you connect to your cell phone. Now, one question that I get a lot is, can I connect my Bluetooth headphones over to the drum module? And the answer is no. Drum companies don't really support that because latency tends to be around 50 milliseconds with Bluetooth headphones, and that really makes the drum set feel sluggish, which is why no companies currently support it. The TD17 drum module also supports layering, meaning that you can take two sounds that you imported into the drum module and stack them on top of each other, or you could take two internal sounds and stack them on top of each other. They also give you the ability to tell the drum module when to use sample 1 and sample 2. So you can make one layer only come in when you're playing soft, and the other layer come in when you're playing loud, or vice versa, or stack them. There's a lot of ways to blend these sounds together. It's very flexible. The TD17 module is also pretty easy to understand. If you bump around long enough and really play with the settings enough, you'll just figure out where everything is. They also have dedicated knobs for like tuning and stuff that just makes your life a little bit easier. No faders, unfortunately, but pretty much everything else that you would need is right there. I also like how this module just has like a handy shelf for your cell phone. And then finally, I like the ability to split zones. So if you use cable splitters, you can use a ton of pads from one drum module. The TD17 module is a fairly small box, but it can actually do a lot. Not as much as the TD27, which would have been great to see on this drum set, but it's still a fairly nice drum module. Now, as far as overall sound quality goes, it's kind of a subjective thing in the eye of the beholder. You'll either like these sounds and want to buy the drum set, or you'll hate these sounds and want to stay away from this drum set at all costs. They are not photorealistic. They're basically stylized acoustic sounds. Whether or not you like the sounds will be up to you. Okay, we've talked about individual elements of the drum set. Now let's talk about the drum set as a whole in comparison to several other drum sets around this price range. I feel like this is a good drum set, but it's not necessarily the best bang for your buck. The TD17 KVX is still giving you something similar to this, but it's a lot cheaper by I think $700. The tariff prices in the United States are really messing everything up, and companies are shifting what drum sets cost all the time. So some of my older videos are no longer accurate when I talked about certain prices. This drum set is great and fun to play on, but just know that if you buy it, you're buying it for cosmetic reasons rather than getting a drum set that is drastically better than the TD17 KVX, which costs like $700 less. Okay, so now I want to talk about some of the competition around this price range, which is the Alesis Strike Pro SE and the ATV EXS5. I've played both of those drum sets. I have playing examples of both of those drum sets and everything. And maybe I'll have to do like a dedicated versus video for all the drum sets around the $2,000 price range. But here's like a really quick breakdown on my thoughts of these kits. The Alesis Strike Pro SE is now a legit option against this new Roland drum set. To be honest, I was very surprised at how good the Alesis Strike line has been getting. Back in 2017, I was telling everybody to stay away from the Strike because of how terrible it was. And that was 100% true. They had a lot of issues with those drums. But now they've finally just like gotten past pretty much all the issues that I originally had with the drum set. It's a lot more durable now. The sounds are better now. They keep adding more and more free kits. They're on update number 5 to the drum module. They have a brand new kick drum. They got rid of those terrible hi-hats that I hated in the first version. It's not perfect, like it's got higher latency than Roland drum modules, and the triggering isn't quite as good. But if you're just playing Alesis' drum set and you take the time to optimize everything, it's actually a really good option compared to this Roland drum set. I'm not saying it's the best choice for everybody, but it really is strong competition. I like the fact that you get the 14-inch snare. You get large floor toms. You get more toms overall. You get more cymbals overall. You get the 16-inch ride cymbal. You get a drum module that has better sounds. You get faders. There's so many little things about the Strike that they've just done right now. And believe it or not, ATV also has a very strong drum set at this price range as well. With their kit, you actually get a 16-inch ride cymbal that's 360 triggering. Their cymbals are actually better than what Alesis offers at this price range. You also get the 14-inch hi-hats, you get the 13-inch snare, you get very decent sizes here, and they trigger incredibly well. But of course, every drum set has downsides, and with ATV, they've decided that microtransactions are the way. So they give you 5 drum sets, and then you have to go buy individual ones from their sound store. So that's really the biggest downside of going with ATV, the fact that you have to wade through microtransactions to get all the sounds that you want. More than Alesis or Roland, ATV is more about simplicity, just turning on the module and starting to play, instead of really messing with a lot of settings. that will either appeal to you or it will make you not want to buy the drum set. So at this price range, I don't know if there's any sort of like clear winner. Alesis is doing a lot of great things at that price range. A lot of drummers will be well served with that kit. Roland has a great drum set here with the VAD306. And then ATV still has a very strong offering for people that don't care about acoustic looking electronic drums and just want something with decent sizes and good sounds. Unfortunately, there are no perfect drum sets, and no matter what brand you go with, there's always going to be give and take. But again, stepping back and just talking about Roland's drum set, I still think it is a strong offering. I feel like they should have had a larger ride and larger floor tom, but I still do like the drum set, and some people will still gravitate towards it. I think of it more as a successor to the TD17 KVX, but regardless, I like the drum set, although it is a tad small with some of the pads. So that's been my thoughts on this kit. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you all in a few.